Hello everyone, today is what I'm hoping I can call a bucket list unboxing. A bucket list unboxing, I'm hoping I'll be able to call it that because you never know what it's going to look like when you open up a box and get that book out of the box. There's a series called the Dresden Files, the Harry Dresden Files. And Subterranean Press has been doing signed and limited editions of these Harry Dresden books by Jim Butcher for a while now. The first one was Stormfront, came out in 2011, and they're still going. I think Jim Butcher said that he intends to go to something like 25 before ending the series, but I don't know. Anyway, I've picked up a book or two out of that series from Subterranean Press here and there. Maybe 4 or something like that. And then I said, you know what? I'm never going to spend the money that it takes to get that first book, Stormfront, so I might as well just not bother with this series, as far as collecting it goes anyway. If I'm a collector, I got to at least have the first one before I call this collection on its way. And so I'd sold some of them off, figuring I would never bother to pay for $1,400 for Subterranean Press Stormfront. And I missed the opportunity for the Grim Oak signed and limited edition of Stormfront. So I was kind of out, just completely out. Said, sorry, I'm too late. And then Easton Press came out with one. They came out with a copy of Stormfront, Easton Press style, so it looks like an Easton Press book. But there it is. I did a book unboxing on this Easton Press Stormfront. It's a signed edition, signed by the author, Jim Butcher, and I felt like that's about as close as I'll probably get. Anyway, I figured that's about as close as I'll get. And then one day I was on eBay, and I saw somebody listing a Subterranean Press copy of Stormfront, and it was an auction, and it wasn't starting up high, so I decided to watch it. And then one day I said, oh shoot, that auction's ending soon. I might as well place a bid. I don't know if I can sit here and watch it. I'll place a bid that I'd like to pay for it. I'm assuming it'll go way up and above and beyond. And I bid a number, and the auction ended well below that number I bid. And I'm not going to brag about pricing. I'm not going to toot my own horn, but this price was extremely low for what the book is. So that's how I was able to buy it. But I got the box in the mail today, and now I'm hoping that it's going to pan out. Once I get it here in hand, now I feel a little bit nervous. How good is it going to be? How nice is what I'm going to get is... Anyway, that's what I think about. Those are the things that go through my noggin when I'm opening up a book. But let's take a look and see, without any further ado, Subterranean Press, like I said, published Stormfront, I believe it was 2011. And they've done a bunch of them. I think they're up to book 16 or 17 now. And Vincent Chong is the artist for this book. I've never held one in hand. All I read was that Sub Press said there would be numerous interior illustrations, and I really have no idea. I know what the cover looks like, and that's just about it. But I'm pretty stoked. I read Stormfront. It's the only book in the series that I read. After I got the Easton Press book, I read Stormfront, and I loved it. And I can't wait to get more. I've got Full Moon sitting on the shelf over there waiting to be read, along with a bunch of other stuff. But this book came from the United Kingdom, and I got it from a person called Fracassi. Must be Italian. And I'm excited to get to it. Nothing to it but to do it. Wrapped up in newspaper. The box took a slight crunch, but not bad. So I'm hoping for the best. So it's wrapped up in newspaper and wrapped up in this stuff, kind of like what the Folio Society uses. So maybe I've got a Folio Society customer here, or maybe this is just a popular way to cushion a book in the UK. What do you say? I don't know. Anyway, if I can break the tape and get to it. I'm already here. I'm already there. I can't wait to see what I got in here. It's starting to look like a book. The closer I get, the further I fall. It's starting to look like a book coming out of here. Let's see if I can pull it out of here. And it looks like I at least got the book that I was hoping to get. Let's get it out of the plastic and see how it looks. See if everything is as it is supposed to be. So, all right, here it is. Jim Butcher, Stormfront. And it's in, the dust jacket is in Mylar, a clear plastic protector, which is what I do with my books anyway. There's the spine. I'm excited about this one. Bucket list book unboxing. What I do is I make a list of the books I really, really, really want. And I don't put books on there that I don't think I'll ever buy. But I got the books that are within my range, my ceiling. I think that I should be spending on books, or maybe a little bit above that ceiling, and I hope I can get in there. And this book was on there among many, and I've been able to check off quite a few books off of that list. And I've added a few books onto that list as well. But mostly the bucket list of books are books that have already been published that I didn't have a chance to get, or I decided I wanted after they were already published and sold out. So most of it's going back in time to get books that I feel like I need. And then occasionally I'll find out about books that I need that I want to add. But anyway, this is book 1 of the Dresden Files, Jim Butcher, Stormfront. And I think I already mentioned Vincent Chung is the artist. I believe he's the artist for Subterranean Press for this entire series. But here's what I want to do. I want to take that dust jacket off. It's pretty well blank on the back. I showed you the spine. Let's see what the list price of this book was. The list price, signed limited edition, $60. Spoiler alert, I paid more than that for it. But let's take a look at the book itself. There's the spine, the plain book, but it's got cloth boards. My corners look flawless. The spine looks flawless. Very almost, I don't know, I've gotten, yeah, I'd say flawless book so far. Flippin' phenomenal is the phrase I'm going to use today. Colored in papers, a bit of texture to them. I don't know what you would call that, texturing. But there it is, number 498 of 500, signed by the author, Jim Butcher. So this one, ladies and gentlemen, is off the market. It's on the shelf until I die, and I got a youngest son. My youngest son says he wants my books when I die, so even when I die, they might be tied up for a while anyway. But Subterranean Press makes nice books. For those of you who haven't shopped Sub Press, you get very nice Smith sewn binding. They say that this is what they call 80-pound Finch opaque paper, which is thick paper. And if you can feel it, go ahead, careful, wash your hands. If you feel it, it is thick paper. You can tell where that extra money goes. It ain't your mother's trade paperback paper. But anyway, the website said there were interior illustrations, so I want to flip through here, see if I can find any of those. I found one. I found one. How do you like them apples? How's that look? Looks phenomenal. And if you haven't read this story, I strongly recommend it. However, as usual, the illustrations are part of the story. But a lot of people want to know, what does the text size look like? And there it is. The paper is not stark bright white. It's pretty bright though. Let me see how many illustrations there are and hope I can find them all. There's no guarantees here. I might have missed some already, in fact. Once again, if you've read this story, it's all fits. It's coming back to me now. If you're interested in a book review of Stormfront, I did one already, so I'll make sure I post that in the description of this video. You can go back and listen to my review, what I thought when I read it. It was maybe a few days, within a few days of reading it, but I really liked it. Harry Dresden is essentially Spencer for hire as a wizard in Chicago. And I recently listened to a podcast with Jim Butcher, and he actually mentioned that his biggest inspiration for Harry Dresden was the Robert B. Parker Spencer books. And I was a kid growing up in the 80s, so Spencer for Hire, Robert Urich well, Robert Urich was Spencer for Hire for me. But then as an adult, I started reading Robert Parker's Jesse Stone books. And my mom said to me, hey, he's the guy that wrote Spencer. And I knew that. But I didn't realize it was the same Spencer that Spencer for Hire was based on. So once I started reading those, I was a big fan. And I've read a few of the Spencer books. Started at the beginning and worked my way. And maybe I quit at about 3 or 4. I don't remember. I read some of those just phenomenal books. And I've got more to read. But Jim Butcher said that Spencer was the biggest inspiration for this. Of course, you're adding fantasy into the modern day times. A private detective, that's a wizard in Chicago. So I strongly recommend this series, and I need to get reading because I'm recommending a series that I've read the first book of. But if I read that first book and there was never anything more, one of the great ones, and I would probably say, why don't you write some more books about that Harry Dresden fella? Anyway, Jim Butcher was way ahead of me. A lot of folks were way ahead of me, and I'm excited to be on. This is a bucket list book for me. Glad to have it. Now the problem is, I've probably sold 4 books out of this series. I've got one that's a sub-press edition skin game left. I sold all the rest because I figured I would never get this. So I didn't want to have a collection that started at book 11 or 12 in a series. Anyway, now I got to get buying. I got to start putting it together. At some point, slowly but surely, I'll put some more together. Anybody want to sell me a signed limited edition copy of Full Moon at a pauper's price? I'm your man. Anyway, thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. I'm truly excited. C'est la vie, baby.
I think I like ours the same.